Welcome to this episode in our webinar series about Agentic Proptech. Your host today is Erik and me. And Erik, you're one of the co-founders of Proptech OS.
Yes.
Yeah, 2019.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're also very skilled in the real estate core and ontology, semantics, and stuff.
Exactly. No, that is kind of my soft spot is to organize things. And do it structured. And that part. Real estate core actually was founded a year before Proptech OS.
Yeah.
And not only by Proptech OS, but several big property owners and
some industry
and academia.
Yeah. We have a dedicated webinar about real estate core and ontologies and how we use the ontologies to do very fast onboarding. Mm-hmm. And Erik is also the chair of Real Estate Core Consortium, the global consortium that is managing this standard. Yeah. My name is Rasmus Petersen, and I'm head of sales. So I'm just a sales guy. I'm the facilitator of this. And we will take you through this series or this session today. It's about agents, agentic AI, and as I said before, this is 1 out of 6, so we can call this episode 2. This is about going from all the Excel spreadsheets that many of you maybe are making, and you are trying to link them to each other. You maybe make macros or Visual Basic stuff inside. Maybe you also came to the level where you now do Power BI. What you'll see today is how you get a future where you are the chief of agents, because in the future you'll define agents instead. We have 4 more series or 4 more episodes that we'll hope you also will follow. Yes, today it is about going from all these spreadsheets, all these dashboards, to actually use agents. We will shortly go through what is an agent, not that much, because the last episode we went a little bit more into to details, and you can just write in the chat or in the Q&A or send us an email. We'll send you the recordings for those of you that is new to this. And we'll focus on actually going into details about how they work together. So how one agent can do something, and it is asking another agent to do stuff. Maybe also ask a human, which is called human in the loop, to what is the next step for me now. If we have time, we will maybe also share a little bit of experiences we have. We have been using agents, running agents on customers' buildings for 4, 5, 6 months now. Yeah. Since October, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's close to 6 months actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we'll wrap up, and we try to be finished at 9:45, so you can catch the next Teams meeting you have at 10. Good. The big pain, or the big goal, the big reason that we are looking into these agents is that 23% of what you do, some of you maybe even more percentage because you are in specific parts of the real estate management processes, 23% of the processes that a real estate management team is doing, we have agents for today. Meaning that if you have the data, we can help you start up these agentic teams. It's not something that is coming in the future. The development within this is going so fast. And these 23% of your processes, we did not have those defined just 6 months ago, because at 6 months ago, agents were so new. But to get an overview of all these agents, we made a small agency where you can have a look into the different agents. What they do, is they monitoring stuff, or are they also controlling? They are explained, all of them. There's 42, and there's also a beta version of an agent advisor. You just go in and ask a question. I have this and this and this issues. What kind of agents can I use? These agents are open sourced because it's just skills. It's just a description of a work process. That was some of the things we went through last time. But since we have no need to hide or have it as a proprietary knowledge how a HVAC set point monitoring agent works, it's all for you and it's free of use.
And as I said, that we have chosen to open source it, but we have many clients that want to keep their secret agents because there might be parts of their processes that they want, but don't want to expose. But as you said, I think definitely it's not a secret, and we actually have several of our clients that are sharing their agents when we kind of pick their brain, their expertise, and they have said we'll share this.
It would be a new way of working together, like we have focus groups, or you meet up and you do networking, you collaborate with others to get more insight. Definition of agents will be the same. The good thing is that if you build a real good agent for a shopping mall, you can share it with others if you want to do that. Mm-hmm. The agents that we have, they are also referring to industry standards, ASRAE, EN standards and stuff like that. EU taxonomy, yes, of course, and all the sustainability regulations. So the agents we have is more generic agents, we can say, and then you put them on your Agentic platform in Proptech OS, and you define them towards your own business, your own service levels that you have with your customers, your internal or external customers. But take a look, and of course this will be a part of the presentation that will be sent out to you afterwards, so you can also ask questions. The agents is running on top of the data that we collect from your buildings. We collect IoT-based data or BIM data, of course, from a BMS, facility management, but also your business systems, tenant management systems, for instance. And we connect to the data you have across your building portfolios and put them in the real estate core, the ontology, meaning that suddenly we have the same language across all your systems, across all your buildings. And that is the enabler for running apps. We have around 50 apps that is part of the app ecosystem. That's apps for predictive maintenance, apps for fault detection and diagnostics, elevator maintenance. But it's also the foundation to have the large language models running on data where it does not hallucinate, because now there's actually relations between your data. And that's also the reason that we can be so fast offering these possibilities, because our customers, we have more than 2,500 buildings already onboarded with Real Estate Core. That means that these agents, in a very, very fast way, can get access to the data, and you can scale. If it works on one building, you can scale to a lot of other buildings. So that was just a short introduction and the link between the buildings and the data that might be logged into your systems in your buildings, and how you can get that value out of your data. So I said the agents will become teams. You can have an agent that is your personal agent, just one agent that maybe writes an email to you. But you can also have agents that are running as a team. So agents are asking another agent. This other agent is returning some answers. And that agent or that answer will maybe need a human in the loop. I think we will see in the next year or two a lot of agents very closely working with humans, because we as humans want to be in control, just until we get confidence in that the agents are actually working as we want them to. So human in the loop, that human gets some feedback from an agent, says what is next. It will be replaced during some time, of course, with true agents. We will also see that agent teams will be monitored or managed by another agent. So maybe we'll get some management agent teams. It's an interesting future we are going to, but don't be afraid of your job, because it won't replace your job. It will just make your daily work, I think, more fun.
Yeah. At least not before the summer.
Not before this summer, no. Maybe. Things and the technology is evolving so fast in this area. Good. Let's go and see how these agents are actually working. So Erik, now I'll hand this to you, and make this full screen.
And now we're going to just see a short example, and I'm going to show it in detail, another case. But let me see if it starts.
It does.
You have the buildings in the bottom with their embedded agents that asks if something is off. They can ask experts, like in this case, to check the nighttime schedule, and then optimize it, and then change it. I mean, doing an actuation or control. Another building might feel that I'm wasting lots of energy from ventilation or cooling or something but no one's there. Ask an expert to analyze the occupancy, and you can change the operational schedule for ventilation, for an example. Possible water leak. This is a very popular agent that is monitoring your portfolio using the water meters, and then it can activate an alert, a work order. I mean, many times depending on if it was that you need to actually that you actually need to send an emergency call to the security, or if it's something that can be handled during office hours. That's a very popular one with water leakage. So, having that said, I'm going to show you. Let me see if I can figure. Yeah. I'll look here instead. Let me see if I can now see, so I can share my screen.
And these agents, you can ask them to do a lot of the jobs that you don't want a human to do. You don't want to have humans working during the nighttime, for instance, having a look at electricity prices, and that actually is one of the cases that we'll show now.
Yeah. And now, of course, when we repeated and rehearsal this, it worked fine. There you go. Excellent. Yeah. You had to drop that one. Then I can share my screen, and I will share. So now I'm in Proptech OS, and here I have a set of agents. And as Rasmus said before in previous webinars, we were going through in details the difference between embodied and expert. But I'm going to look at the case that we have an expert agent that we have set up here that's a peak shaving agent. It analyzes the energy consumption, and its job is to guard the electricity consumption. So if it goes above, I think it was 480 kilowatt in this example, then it will apply a strategy to deal with that. Turn turn stuff off in the building, and doing that in sequences depending on causing minimum damage to the people in the building.
What is a consequence if you don't do this for electricity consumption or the environment, for instance?
There is this kind of forecast or prophecy that the cost for energy goes towards zeros. I can see now I'm in SE3, and there are I think they're negative. There was negative prices for a couple of hours yesterday, and I think they're almost to zero negative today. Yeah. So we're already there. That energy goes. If I just would have this huge battery, I could. And photovoltaic, I could definitely go off grid.
We also have this called Dunkelflaue, where suddenly we get them really high spikes in prices, and all that is because we have to stabilize the electricity grids, and that's what this is.
So as a consequence, I mean, the costs for the transmission, the costs for the power. I mean, how big subscription do you have on your building, 1,000 amperes, and how much are you using? That is what is getting higher and higher. We have some clients, I mean, that are really formalizing strategies. So being able to turn something off that you don't really need, that it won't. If you turn off the heating or cooling for 1 hour, people won't notice because you have so much thermodynamic inertia in the building. So here we go. I have a peak shaving agent, and it's running, and I'm just going to show you what it does. It has first its work description. We call it system prompt, but this is basically the work description. And now this is a test agent. I know that next week there is a live seminar in Gothenburg where actually one of our clients will be showcasing these kind of systems and agents that are actually working on large building. But here, since I don't want to turn off any of our clients, since we don't own any buildings in Proptech yet, we'll see when we get there. But this is a peak shaving agent, and the role of this one is to be the kind of power guard, and it has access to all the energy measurements, to the BMS or BAS systems, weather forecasts, also occupants in the building, and so this one will execute a couple of different strategies, and this one has two different strategies. It has also the behavior here is that this is continuously monitoring. It also has permission. I think a really important part here is to say, what is this agent allowed to do? I mean, we're working quite much now on giving short-term permissions instead, and how we are mapping these to, also EU regulations of what kind of severity you do with the agents. And again, we are seeing the agents as a digital employee. They have an ID in the Active Directory, just as I have or Erasmus has. So they are really being treated as a digital employee, and that means that we have given them permissions. And in this case, they have permission to work with the Proptech OS Lab.
And in that sense, actually, now we're speaking about how to manage an agent team. If you get a student assistant, they also start working with more simple tasks and slowly growing, getting more responsibility and more areas where they can work. And we will see the same with agents. They start with very tight guardrails. And you might, that's you that are listening here, you'll be the chief of these agents. You'll give them more and more responsibility.
I think it's like with your kids, with a master and a trainee, you don't give them the keys from day one to the kind of sensitive stuff. It will be the same thing. They will earn your trust.
But you are in control.
Here I'm in control. So what I'm looking at now is the kind of dashboard where I'm managing my agents, just to make that clear. And if I'm just looking at this peak shaving agents, now there is this little peculiarity with running these agents. Of course, as a good TV chef, I have prepared this, but if I would have run through this case 30 minutes before we started here now, the agent is on the Sonnet 4.5 here is a model with a memory, which means that if I would have run through this 30 minutes before, then it would probably have felt like, wait, you just asked me to do this. I can't do it again. So this is parts of dealing with they have. I shouldn't say that they don't have cognition, or maybe that's a philosophical discussion.
There was a question last episode about why not just add a threshold to a BMS alarm. And that was a really good question, because this is different. This is actually these agents are reasoning. They are taking a little bit of responsibility on their own, a little bit.
So now I'm feeling lucky doing live demos. So I did it, and we'll see here what it says.
I think most of you that is looking, that you know that if you do a live demo on software, it's a success. It's a 1 out of 10 that it works.
No, I think it's 9 out of 10. But here, because you have this kind of course, you could set up a special demo agent. But since this is a live production environment, even though it's a demo lab, but it's the same production environment as for our other clients, I want to demo the right code. But I think it actually since I saw the last one was actually yesterday, I've been kind of careful not trying to to awake the agent with too much frequent, because then it will kind of feel that, hey, something is off. Why are you trying to make me do this multiple times? So what we have here in the case, and since this is a demo, is that it actually analyzes to see that it actually tried to do the layer 1 first. It was insufficient, so it's actually proposing to escalate it to layer 2. Layer 1 in this case was to throttle the EV chargers. As long as you haven't promised anyone that you are throttling the EV chargers, I mean, you're quite used to that this is a very common technique. Then the next step, when that wasn't sufficient, is that it actually used the data, the historical data, the forecast data, and it will then turn off the heat to non-human being, like office areas, like corridors, garages, hallways. And of course, that means that you're taking off the edge. That means that you're actually taking off the power to the compressors to continue. I mean, when you have a BMS system, a PLC controlling the compressors, it is actually quite stupid. It's so rule-based. Just follow the rules. So let me see here if we had a it was communicating. It's communicating now with the building, and I think I'd actually had an internal name for that, Alma 2. And let me see what it looks like when it actually got the request. So what happened was now that this one kicked in. Yes, did you see that?
Yeah.
Blink, it came in there. It's actually Proptech Lab. That was the old name, Alma. So now I have told this one that this is the embedded agent. This is the kind of Jarvis of the Proptech Lab agent of the building, the Proptech Lab building. So it made a request agent to agent, and it has review, because here we said that we need a human in the loop. So here's the plan. Here's the current building power. Here is the action. I want to change the actuation value to 17 from the corridor, from 21 to 17. And the expected result is that we will have a 12 to 18 kilowatt power reduction, which means that we will go under the target that we have, the 480 target. And the impact is minimal. There won't be really, it's not like we're turning down it to 17 degrees. It's just that we are just turning off the extra power that we're pushing in for producing heat for those places. So here I can reject or approve. And if I am approving this one, then it will actually be sending the command or the actuation, securely to the underlying system, whatever that is in this case. Since it's real estate core, the agent just knows that I will be reducing the heat in those 50 different rooms, maybe 25% of the building by doing this.
So a way of onboarding this, that's a question about that. How can we use this in the Q&A? If you add this agent in your new building, and you just let it run, when you wake up in the morning, because you don't check in on your agent platform in the nighttime, you see 5 of these reviews. Maybe this is also a way as you to get to know the agent behavior. And you see, okay, actually last night it came out with 4 proposals that I need to review. So you, as a responsible for the heating or electricity or your building indoor climate, you will have the agent running. And you can see how much it proposes to you after 1 week, for instance.
Yeah. And then you will probably tell them that, well, this makes sense. If I would have rejected it, I could have told it, wait, you can't go below 18 degrees that we have to put in as a limitation. Yeah. There could be something like that.
But it will also mean that you can then, you run it for a week or 2, and then you change your agent behavior by saying, do this if it's more than this.
Yeah. It's like training your newly employees to
Exactly.
tell them that, wait, we 480 kilowatt, I think we actually have to lower it to 450.
Yes, for instance.
because of something like
that. So again, it's I think a lot of us are afraid of what is going on, what is happening, because we read about all this. Suddenly some agents are speaking to each other, making social media, social platforms where they try to take over the human.
But here it's extremely controlled and safeguards which agents are allowed to talk to each others, and what the permission policies see that the load sharing agent didn't have any permission policies to actually do something. It has to communicate back to this embedded agent, and that one has the permissions to change a set point. I mean, there's one thing to read stuff, but there's, of course, things can go terribly wrong if you.
And that's a question coming in now. What is the requirements for this? What do we need of data?
You need the data here. Is that you? In this case, it was the building automation system. Doesn't matter what brand it is, Schneider, Siemens, Nordomatic, it doesn't really matter. And you need to have the set points enabled, so you're onboarding, you're reading the data and the electricity meters, so you get those. And also very wisely is if you just get the data from like Nord Pool in this case, the energy price
Nordic energy
markets, so you can see that, and also usually weather forecasts, which is standard in protocol, you get that in. But it's basically onboard the resources. I mean, in many other buildings, we have EV chargers too, so it's usually the BMS, and so you can control the compressor as an example. And in many buildings, if you have commercial buildings, you might have this kind of snow melting for us in the Nordics, which consumes enormous amount of energy. That's a very popular case to try to do those a little bit better and turn those off.
When you don't have so much snow melting in Australia, I guess.
No.
Then it's a cooling.
Then it's a cooling problem. And I just add a little bit, another really cool agent when it comes to BMSs, and we see the kind of shortcoming of a BMS is that we are running for hospital, and when they have the operational rooms for operations, it's the humidity it's life and death for real. The level of humidity. If it goes too high, you have bacteria growth, and the big problem is that they are monitoring this and right this time of year now starts to become a problematic time of year, because if the humidity isn't being ventilated away from the operational rooms in the middle of the night, then you are wasting. You're wasting for patients, for doctors. It's so the money is so big. So many times if they shows that let's run the ventilation in 100% 24/7. Which of course is crazy. But here, and the problem with the traditional BMS is that they might not foresee that this time of year we will have a problem if we're just running the system as it is. We should have started 2 hours earlier and forced the ventilation. So that is one big use case, using agents for hospitals.
We have agents running on hospitals, shopping malls, and other business critical applications, cooling freezers, and that kind of equipment. So they are actually able to run on something where you have big risks if it doesn't work. It's not we're not playing around with agents in that sense. And that just one more, we connect to these BMS systems either through the standard interfaces, APIs, or MQTT or cloud, but actually also with an edge device that can be installed in the environment.
On the PLCs directly.
PLCs directly. So no matter how old or new your
system. BACnet, Modbus, doesn't really matter.
Good. I hope that was an answer. Otherwise, just feel free to ask more.
And I might just add a little bit about. I mean, we were talking. The title of this seminar is actually Excel, and I mean, I shouldn't say that Excel is bad. It's a very good interface for humans, but of course, when you start having all your assets lists and all the other things, it starts to become final version 4.
We have a case later where we I'll ask you about that. You can explain that because that's actually where we went from Excel to some workflow to actually an agent monitoring a large building.
I'll stop there.
So Good, because that's actually some of our experiences with this. I'll start sharing again. So to wrap up this, agents can do simple things as asking for potential water leakage, checking if somebody is in the building through the light systems, for instance, if the peer sensors are active, or if the intrusion system is armed, and they're not running in your or on your PC like these Excel spreadsheets. They are running in a safe environment where they work together, and you have full visibility. You have full audit of which agent did what. You have the history when you change the prompts. So you actually collect all the historical information and knowledge about the specific agents, which is very, very much worth. So what is which challenges will we expect we will face? As we say, we all rookies in this. Agentic AI is a technology that is less than a year old.
Yeah, not even that.
Not even that. And it goes so fast, so it's very important that we share. Every one of us share our knowledge and experience. And we have had these running, as we said in the beginning, at around 6 months. And one of the cases we actually have was where we found some set points that were not correct in a large building. I think we saved around 30% of the ventilation flow, the airflow.
That's what one example that you have wasting running ventilation in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I think the story was we found in the beginning we worked with Excel spreadsheets on that.
It was like semi-manual. This was many years ago, and then we had together with the client, and then move up to
workflow, normal threshold, alarms,
and stuff. Then agentic.
Yeah, because then the agent can run 24/7.
Yeah.
And the good thing with these agents is that they can foresee something. Mm-hmm. They know that if a sensor is drifting, for instance, they are monitoring these sensors and give you a heads up before they reach that threshold. We also seeing that the approach to these agents, where to start, what kind of use cases is good. You can have two different approaches. You can do the use case driven. We want this. We want to achieve these and these savings, and then you go towards the data. And we unfortunately also see that it's not always that customers have the data they think they have, or that systems are in a level of openness as we think they have. It can also be that we thought this system was a new version, but it's a 2-year or 5-year or 10-year-old system. It doesn't matter on the long term, but if you want to have a fast impact, some of our customers is the cost of delay. If you have a pain, if you have a saving, it can be very expensive if it takes a year to achieve that. But this with the use case driven is that we have the use case, what are the consequences, but then we find out maybe we don't have the data. And then we work on solving that, of course. We see the other approach is that we look into the IT/OT inventory. What kind of data do we actually have? There's a lot of data in your systems that is easy accessible. And a lot of these, they are aligned with the EU Data Act, meaning that you have access to your data. Mm-hmm. And based on that, you can throw all these data into an LLM or into our LLM, and then it comes up with the suggested agents. And that's Mads Ole Madsen from Denmark says that they have been testing with data from BMS systems just by comma-separated files and screenshots. And yes, it's a good way of approaching what you have. I also see that a lot of customers are using Excel because you can export from Excel. They call it static data, and that's correct. Add static data, play around, and then you can identify the agents that you can do. And we also seen tremendous exponential value out of using these AI to screen a building. You told about a project where we got access to the technical network. We screened the BACnet, and we identified a lot of systems.
Yeah. I mean, onboarding that usually used to be, I mean, the biggest hustle to get all the accesses and the logins and getting everything in place. That is starting to become very streamlined and doing very fast with agents. I mean, of course, then special onboarding agents that you're doing that work.
And that's a separate episode.
Yeah,
but our record, I think our record is in 1 week we onboarded 1,000 buildings with 13,000 sensors in 1 week. Including the development of the connector to that system. So it is possible. But it's a small discovery phase where we find out the use cases versus the data, and together with you as customers or prospects, we identify the use cases, the agents that is the best. We don't necessarily start with agents changing set points in operations. That is critical. Good. So, the key takeaways here, I would say, and please add your own comments if you want to share, is that agents can run and can work together, and they can also do it on processes where it's quite important that they work precisely, and they always work. You can't have an operation in a hospital stopping if an agent doesn't perform, and sometimes an agent might run more stable than a human, especially if it's like this electricity peak shaving, because no humans is likely to work 24/7, especially not in the nighttime. But also one of the key takeaways is that you have a lot of data out there. It's a matter of finding the right balance between what kind of agents, not one agent, but 2, 3, 4 agents that will work together to start replacing some of the work you don't do right now, because there's a lot of work on your plate that might not be done because that you don't have the resources or the time for that. So I'll just make a small note and tell you that please feel free to. We hope to see you on May the 7th, where we are looking into more like an autonomous facility management assistant, and this is about invoice control. Looking into invoices, maybe also looking into service level agreements from your suppliers, maybe looking into guarantees of your assets. I'm quite sure some of you have tried to order some service on an asset, something you have gotten installed that was actually on a guarantee. Yeah, that happens. The 21st of May, we'll go way more into this. What is real estate core? How do we turn this messy data? Because data is not messy on one building, but if you have 100 buildings, they might seem messy because they are programmed by 100 different system integrator maybe. How do we use, how do we put these data into the real estate core? And how we have made an onboarding agent for that. June the 4th, it's about change management. It's about the organizational, the human impact. And for your IT colleagues, June the 18th, it's about permissions, policies, and guardrails. For some of us, it is really nerdy, but it is really important. You won't have agents running if your IT does not support it. Your IT, your governance does not support it. And if you want to meet us live, April 28th in Göteborg, Gothenburg. It's fully booked. If you want to participate, just call us and maybe we can find a spot for you. We are at the Danish Facility Management Annual Conference in Denmark, in Copenhagen, also in May. We have a special event together with Microsoft in Stockholm, May the 6th. We are attending AI-driven building optimization, a masterclass together with Gate 21 in Denmark. And then we also attending the Proptech Denmark Symposium 26 in Denmark. So if you want to meet us face to face, we'll be happy to see you there. And usually we have a deep dive session, but since it's a photo day, we don't. But we would really much like to keep the human in the loop interaction, because those are very important. So you'll get a link to a meeting, so you can just feel free to book us in our calendars afterwards. And since I don't see any new questions, then we can actually meet the target to end now, 9:45. Thank you for your attendance, and thank you for the questions and comments, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.